Stephanie.
And I'm Sydney.
And we're here to teach you guys about the Conquistadors. So to start us off, we need to understand who they were before we can get into all the different things they did and why they did it and how this affected history later on and today. So the reason why they began to conquer the parts of the New World was because the Portuguese had started setting up trading ports in Africa, and they really wanted to try and make the same money they were and get back on the top of the world power.
And the 3 G's are also important to understand. It's God, glory, and gold. And they wanted to conquer the land because they wanted to convert the people, and it just brought them like glory, fame, and power, and social status. And they wanted the gold, which was an effect later.
So one of these examples of a conquistador was Cortez, Hernan Cortez, and he is most known for defeating the Aztecs of Mexico. There were a couple factors that went into why he was able to conquer this great empire. And one of them was that they thought he was a god. When he showed up in Mexico, he had huge ships and these guns that they'd never seen before, and it was so different than their own culture, and so they were sure he was a god. So they kind of just bowed down to him and let him do whatever he wanted. Another factor that went into why he was able to finish such a feat was he allied himself with other tribes in the area, and that did not like the Aztecs, and they all worked together to defeat them. But probably most important was the fact that all the natives were dying of smallpox because they didn't have an immunity to this disease that the Europeans had brought over, so they were dying like all over the place. Another important name that you should probably remember that has to do with Cortez is that he killed the Aztec ruler Montezuma.
So the next conquistador is Francisco Pizarro, and he defeated the Incas, and it was like 10 years after Cortez conquered the Aztecs. And it was a really difficult task to accomplish because in like Incas, like modern day Peru, and they have like all these mountains, and it was like really hard for him to like conquer the king Atahualpa and get through the mountains and like take apart their civilization, which was like really advanced.
The effects of the conquistadors. So the mining that they got, they were taking gold and a lot of silver, and this led inflation in their economy, and also the agriculture brought new resources which they haven't seen before, which made them really in demand. And so this brought a lot of money to Spain in particular. And then this amassed a big mercantilist power during this time, which means that they would get money from the New World and then bring it back to the Old World, so they had a good society and like money flow, I guess. And then so they also brought syphilis to Europe from the natives of the time because they didn't have an immunity built up to this disease. And so Cortez specifically, he set up Mexico as a dominant colony of Spain, which you can still see the influences of today because Mexico still speaks Spanish as their main language. And Pizarro set up the encomienda, hacienda, and mita systems,